Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Michael Show. I'm Michael Tran, and today we'll be talking about the 2026 midterm elections, especially in the great state of Iowa, where President Trump comfortably won in all of his elections, in three elections, 16, 20, and 24. And especially for this year in Iowa, we'll be having a U.S. Senate race where we need to keep this seat red and elect a good successor for Senator Joni Ernst. And as you all know, right now, Congresswoman Ashley Hinson is the front runner. She got the whole political machine in DC, plus President Trump endorsement. They are running the show for her. But we also know that she's not a MAGA candidate. She has a very poor voting record in in a conservative scale. So we need to have another voice, a voice that represents us, the MAGAs, in the U.S. Senate. And as we all see right now, not only the Democrats, but also some of the rhinos are trying to block President Trump's agenda. We need to make a change. And today, I'll be bringing to you a MAGA candidate who can fulfill that mission. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to welcome to the show former state senator Jim Carlin, who is running in the GOP primary for U.S. Senate from Iowa. Senator Carlin, thank you and welcome to the show.
Thanks very much for having me, Michael. Good to be here.
Thank you, sir. It's my great honor. And Mr. Senator, can you make a brief introduction about you and the reason you're running for U.S. Senate, sir?
Sure, Michael. My name is Jim Carlin. I'm a candidate for the U.S. Senate. When I'm asked why I'm taking this on, my answer for that is pretty simple. I think the government has gone well beyond what was in our founders' hearts when they created this country. Right now, we're seeing the government infringe on freedoms and really infringe on the economic security of Americans through how its policies and the Federal Reserve and the level of government spending has really kind of put us in a position where the government's not serving us, it's robbing us. And I think that's a very real threat to the future of our children and grandchildren.
Thank you, sir.
That's why you bet.
Yeah, thank you. And I looked at the record, and it showed me that you ran for a statewide office before, and you tried to run before, and then you actually in 2026 you ran before Senator Ernst announced her retirement. So yes, you have been in the grassroots for a long time.
10 years.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
I served in the Iowa House and Senate for 6 years. Then I primaried Chuck Grassley, and now I'm in a primary with Ashley Hinson. But yeah, I announced I was going to run before Senator Ernst said she wasn't going to.
Yes, and so we all know that Congresswoman Hinson, she has like the whole political machine in DC backing her, and also President Trump also endorsed her. Like but she has a poor conservative record. So but Iowa is I know that Iowa is a unique state where efforts and grassroots support means a lot more than money and power. So can you what makes you different from her, and it can help you win the votes from the constituents?
Well, people in Iowa do pay attention to who shows up to their central committee meetings and who actually makes their way out in the grassroots of Iowa, authentically campaigning and making their case to be elected. Ashley Hinson hasn't done that. She's actually hardly showed up for much of anything, a few events here and there. I think her campaign would almost be better set in a frame of mailing it in, so to speak, not engaging with the people, not talking to the people, but just sending out mail pieces and thinking that's going to be enough to convince Iowans. I don't think it's going to be enough. I beat her in a straw poll, 54-46, and a minimum 14 county survey with 1,000 voter sample. she's not by any means won this race. In fact, I think we are going to win this race. You know, I don't know. Most people may or may not know this. I don't know if President Trump knew this, but she rallied for Nikki Haley the night before caucus and encouraged people to caucus for Nikki Haley. I think that tells you a lot. I think how she voted for $100 billion to Ukraine when our own borders are being overrun with 20 million illegal aliens. She voted to fund USAID, NED. Those are basically unaccountable slush funds for some bad things. And, she voted against marriage. She voted also to continue and expand funding of the UN. There's a lot of votes in here that no person who's an America First MAGA candidate would get behind.
Thank you. And that's why when I showed up on the screen that she has a very poor conservative score, and we also need to think of like it's 2026, and then we're gonna have another 2 years for President Trump. Then he gonna leave the White House for his successor. So most of the, I can say, the fake conservative politicians, they vote with the Democrats and the liberals when President Trump is not there in the House. So we need to like stop it. We need to prevent it by voting MAGA candidates like you to US Senate. And I also know that it's very special in Iowa that you need to do the 99 county
Oh, yeah.
tour to get, if you want to win their votes. Is that correct, sir?
No, it's absolutely correct. It's just there's different ways of doing the 99 county tour. Like stopping for a cheeseburger in a county is not much of a tour. I don't know if she's done that. I just know that when I talk to the grassroots people, when I talk to Central Committee chairs, that they haven't seen her. Where she's going, I don't know, but it's largely not been publicly disclosed where she's going to be, and it doesn't really give people much of a chance to engage with her. So, she can defend that if she wants to, but we're getting out there. We're getting in front of people. We're answering their questions. We're telling them where we're at on specific issues, and they won't have to guess what they're going to get from us when I'm elected to the U.S. Senate.
And when you interact with the grassroots, what do you hear from them that their priorities right now and what they want for U.S. Senate to do first?
I think most of them feel like they're not represented. Um, I think most people in Iowa that are in Ashley's district that are Republicans, I don't really believe that we're represented. And it's because the votes don't align with the rhetoric. They're told one thing on campaign speeches, and then somebody completely different ends up casting votes in DC. I think Ashley falls in that frame. They feel like they're being squeezed. The price of housing, the price of health insurance, the cost of student loans, all those things, the cost of them housing has gone up 45% since COVID. Student loan costs have doubled. Health insurance has doubled. Our farmers are really not getting a good value, a good price at the market for their grain, for their meat. And it's leaving them really put in a very tight spot economically. And they're aware of it. And I think we're all smart, they're all smart enough to know that the government's causing it. And they want somebody who's going to advocate for them to protect their economic interests. And that's something I will absolutely do.
Yeah, and but would President Trump's come back right now? And we have passed like many good legislations, like the One Big Beautiful Bill. Have people in Iowa benefited from that bill, sir?
Um, I think the thing that President Trump included in that, which I really like, is not taxing seniors on Social Security when they were given 1.5% interest on the money they put into it. That's long overdue, and it shows a concern in his heart for the seniors of this country. Not taxing tips and not taxing overtime is that's helpful to middle class people. And I think those are good things. I am concerned about the level of spending.
Mm.
Obviously, inflation is a real problem, but all in all, I think he genuinely tried to consider the interests of Iowans and the people of this country.
Yes, and right now yeah, I agree that we have the spending problem right now. Uh, but now I will give you some hypothesis when if you're in Senate. Now we get stuck with the Homeland Security budget, and we can never get 60 votes to reopen the department. So if you are in Senate right now, do you support nuking the filibuster to fund them? And
Absolutely.
thank you. And if you, yeah. And how about the Save America Act? Would you support like nuking the filibuster too, or talking filibuster?
I would absolutely support a filibuster in both of those instances. Listen, you cannot play games with national security, which it's pretty unbelievable, but the Democrats are willing to do that. And the SAVE Act, like if we don't have the SAVE Act pass, we don't really have verifiable elections. That's a we're just trying to shore up election integrity, which we should after the 2020 election. These are basic things that 70, 80% of the American people want to see. And there's just no legitimate reason not to pass them. I'm actually pretty disappointed in the Republican Senate caucus for not getting the SAVE Act through.
Yeah, I do agree with you. But the reason I asked you the question is I just verify online that Congresswoman Hinson, she said that she supported the act, but she had no comments on the way the act would be passed. Like she didn't say that she supported talking filibuster or nuking filibuster. So like she want to play safe. That oh yeah, I
Sure.
support the act, but the thing is you got to do it practically. The most practical way is nuking filibuster or talking filibuster, and she said nothing about it. Just like the rest of the majority of the senators from outside, which is very disappointing. So thank you for saying it out and confirming it.
Sure.
And with the
They do play it safe, Michael. You're right about that.
yes, thank
Play
you.
it safe. Don't expend any political capital, which tells you about the level of conviction and belief on that issue. If you're not willing to take any risk on it, you're kind of locating yourself.
Yes, and when my audience said, "Oh, we have like 50 senators supporting the act," I mean, yes, but if whether they support nuking filibuster or talking for filibuster to pass the act, because for many politicians there, they know that we can never get to 60 votes, so they could say that, "Oh, I support the act," and that's it. They just want to play safe and fool the voters. So we need people like you to say it out and to uh, go straightly to the point that the
Mhm.
method to pass the law is more important than the law. And with the ongoing operation, the Epic Fury against Iran, do you support President Trump's decision to destroy the ammunition of Iran? And what the voters in Iowa tell you about the operation? Do they want to keep it on or to finish it up as quick as possible, or
Sure.
there was something else?
Well, historically, we know that President Trump has always addressed military action surgically. I think this is another example of that. He employs what I would call decapitation strikes. He goes right for the head of the snake. I think this is an instance where he's employing the same strategy. I don't think he has any intention of deploying ground troops in any substantive way at all in this conflict. It's a mixed bag. Some people are opposed to it. Look, none of us wants another Iraq. None of us wants another Afghanistan. But there's some realities like this is factually distinguishable from Iraq. This isn't an instance where there's no weapons of mass destruction or any meaningful threat. Which in Iraq, hey, people have a legit reason to question why we went through all that. But here, the foreign minister said he had 440 kilograms of enriched uranium, 60% enriched, which reveals an intention towards a nuclear weapon. And I understand that's something we cannot have. And whether you wait or not, well, okay, let's say you wait. You know, I think you're giving them more time to prepare for the ensuing attack. You're giving them more time to shore up a defense base to defend the uranium. You're giving them more time to develop the weapon. So I question the motives of anybody who thinks it's a good idea to have that much uranium and then tell me they have no intention of developing a nuclear weapon. Of course you do. And the question is, do we wait or do we not wait? Do we engage now surgically or do we wait till later on where there could be a much more, uh, I guess, a much more larger uh, battle in scope and scale?
Yes, because like for some of the people, they're concerned that the operation will become a war, like Iraq, and it's gonna cost more spending and gonna cause inflation and all of these stuffs. But the thing is, I believe that it won't be like Iraq, and the President Trump just confirmed that no troops gonna be deployed or no boots on the ground. But the thing is, the Congress, both chambers, must do a very simple thing that codifying President Trump's executive orders. They don't. I haven't seen them doing it in a good way, especially for the president's call to reform our healthcare system. Do Iowans ask you about that, and do they want any
Yeah,
changes to that?
that's a huge issue that affects everybody. When Obamacare first came out with it, he was, you're going to keep your doctor, you're not going to pay any more in premiums. So what's the reality? My doctor doesn't get to make healthcare decisions. He's got to pre-authorize everything. Um, Diagnostic workups are put in the hands of claims adjusters who didn't graduate from medical school. The cost of it, I think most people would agree, Michael,
Yeah.
it's 200% or more. And you know what else is more than 200%, Michael? The profits of the five biggest health insurance companies involved in
Yeah.
Obamacare. So
Yeah.
he created a monopoly which doesn't give us a voice on how much we pay and doesn't give our doctors control over administering our health care. I think the entire healthcare system has suffered enormously from Obamacare, while big insurance companies are making twice the money they were making before Obamacare. And that's the real motivation that we need to look at. That's what needs to be examined by the Senate, by the House. Like, how do you justify doubling these premiums? And the truth is, they can't.
Yes, and for our Vietnamese community, many of our voters are they used to love Obama because of Obamacare, but right now they turned the page and they moved to the MAGA movement. They said that it was a scam, and their doctors keep on declining their claims.
In the end for a
And
second there,
yes,
Michael.
yes, yes.
Lost you for a second there.
Oh, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. I
Yeah.
lost you for like 10
Oh,
seconds. Sorry.
oh yeah, just to make sure. Thank you, sir. So the
Yeah.
Vietnamese community, many of them, they used to join Obamacare, and they said Obamacare was genius. And then after a couple of years, their doctors declined to join the network, declined their claims, and they said Obamacare is a scam. So that's why they joined the MAGA movement. The thing is, we need people like you to be there and to make bold decisions, to make bold votes, even if we have to do with the filibuster, because the Democrats, they keep on saying, oh, we're going to nuke the filibuster. They got the two grandstanders. They were Kirsten Sinema and Joe Manchin, and they are all out. So President Trump was right. If we don't do it, they're going to do it, and they're going to destroy the country. And I don't know, they don't want to do it. So what is the status right now of your campaign? And I know that it's a slipper race, because they stereotype the race that, oh, it's for Ashley Hinson. We don't have any polls on this. So what is the real situation that you see from the ground right now in Iowa?
I think uh, I think we have a not just a we have a winnable race. Actually, we are going to win this race. Um, Rick Santorum won years ago in a presidential caucus, just face to face with as many Iowans as he could. I don't agree with things, but I do agree with his work ethic
Yeah.
and giving Iowans an opportunity to get to meet him. And we're doing the same thing. We're getting out to as many places as we can, in front of as many people as we can, and it's getting noticed. All day on podcasts like this, and our message is getting out. It's time big squeeze that the government is putting on the people of this country economically, and the very real threat it is to the economic security of our children and grandchildren. And that message is really connecting in a powerful way. People understand it and they're on board with it.
Yes, and I believe in personal efforts in the grassroots outreach. For just
Mhm.
relying on the consultants to send out mails and that's it. You don't really work for the people. You work for the DC. You work for the machine, and we got to do
Yeah.
make a change. I saw things in Texas. Like I always tell my audience that Texas is an example, and I hope that it can replicate in other states, especially Iowa. I hear a
Mhm.
lot of people they complain about Iowa is a red state, but why do we see so many rhinos in power? I told her that you got to do your thing. You got to vote for MAGAs. And Miss and Sarah Colin, where can people donate to your campaign and get updates from your campaign, sir?
Well, Michael, you just raised a real good point. That the reality is we think we're electing candidates, and with rhinos, you're electing donors. You're not representing people that actually are they're not representing you, they're representing their donors. And one of the ways to fight that kind of control over you is to donate to grassroots, authentic MAGA, America First candidates like me. You can reach our campaign at carlinforuSsenate.com. We believe in sound money. We believe in free markets, and we believe in President Trump's America First agenda. So if those things mean a lot to you, please get on board. Check us out, donate to our campaign. If you can put a yard sign out, we'd love to have you do that. Any way you can help, we would appreciate. We so appreciate this opportunity to meet with you today, Michael.
Thank you, sir. Because I read from the news that uh, Mrs. Hinson she's outspending you like 2 to 20. 1 to 20, I can say one to
Sure.
20, and this is absolutely David versus Goliath. But David has his own way to win, so we gotta do
David
our
won.
way.
Never
Yes,
forget, David won.
yes.
And most of those mailers that she's spending the millions of dollars to mail out, they're getting pitched in the garbage can.
Oh, yes, it
So
is.
people want to meet you, and we're giving them that opportunity every way we can.
Yes. Thank you, sir. So, for my audience, please again, you see the website in the screen on the screen that CarlinForUSSenate.com. Please check in, donate to his campaign, and get updates on social media. They have all of the social medias listed on his campaign.
Yeah.
And for all of you who are not so fluent in English, you can check the CC button on the video clip at the bottom right. You hit on auto translate and choose your preferred language. So, and then I need you to share this video to as many people as possible so they know who Senator Carlin is, his race, his mission, his promise to the people, and the difference between him and the rhinos in DC. And tell them that if you complain about the rhinos, you gotta vote for the MAGA in the
Yeah.
primary. Vote in the primary. No more complaints. Stop whining. Start winning. And Sarah Colin, thank you
We need
very
to
much.
hire you, Michael.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, sir. So,
You got it spot on, brother.
yeah,
Yeah.
thank you, sir, and thank you again for giving me this opportunity to bring you on my show. I believe that the people will love you, and they gotta support your campaign. And when is the primary date, sir, for Iowa?
Thanks very much for the opportunity, Michael. We appreciate it.
Yes, and when is the primary, sir? I'm sorry, we lost the connection a little bit. Yeah,
Well, that's okay.
yeah,
No, it's June 2nd.
June 2nd. Yeah,
June 2nd. Don't forget to vote, or yeah, be sure you get that ballot in. We
yeah.
want your vote to.
June 2nd, yes. And I
Mhm.
know that this year we're gonna celebrate 250 years of America, and
Yep,
Iowa would be the heart of the celebration. So,
sure would.
yeah, yeah. For my audience in other state, please visit Iowa for this year to celebrate America 250, and tell people in Iowa to vote for Senator Jim Carlin. We need him in the United States Senate. Thank you, Sarah Carlin, again for this great interview on my show. And thank you, my audience, for supporting all MAGA candidates. Please support Jim Carlin for U.S. Senate by going to carlinforusenate.com. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this show, and we will see you in the very near future. I wish you all the best, Sarah Carlin, and wish you well.
Thanks very much, Michael. God bless you.
Thank you, sir, and thank you very much.
Okay.